Hi there.
Hello, how can I help you today?
I'd like to book an appointment for tomorrow afternoon, please.
Sure. What is your full name and email address?
My full name is Alex Followell, spelled Followell, and my email address is alex at the AI Edge, THEAIEDGE.group.
Let me check that for you. Booking confirmed.
So now if we come across, as we can see here, we've got that meeting ready to go in our diary. So now let's come through and try and book another appointment when we've already got a meeting. Hi there.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Please can I book an appointment for tomorrow afternoon at 12:30?
I can help with that. What is your name and email address?
My name is Alex Followell, Followell, and then my email address is alex at theaiedge.group.
Let me check that for you. So the appointment is for tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. for Alex Followell. Email alex at theaiedge.group. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Unfortunately, your requested slot on December 5th is unavailable. However, we have openings on Saturday, December 6th at 1:30 p.m., 2 p.m., or 2:30 p.m. GMT. Would you like to book one of those?
And that entire voice AI agent was just built with Gemini 3 using one prompt. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can bring a voice AI agent like this into existence and how to connect it into n8n. This is a fantastic use case if you're looking to build out quick POCs and demos for clients, or if you're looking to build that next startup app idea instead of having to use platforms like Lovable or Bolt instead. And if you want to get access to the blueprint, make sure to come across to the community, come across to Classroom and YouTube builds. You'll be able to find everything in there, including the prompts that I've used today. So let's jump straight into how we build it. So first we need to come across to Google's AI Studio. What you'll see on the left-hand side is build. You want to click on build, and it's going to take you into this area here, which is where we can bring our vibe coding ideas to life. Once you're in build, you'll be able to see some previous examples in the gallery if you want to get some ideas. But for today, we're going to come up to the top, make sure we're using the brand new Gemini 3 Pro model, and then all we need to do is paste our idea into the center here. What you'll be able to see is in this use case, we're asking for a black premium voice AI agent interface inspired by the 11 Labs dynamic UI. A unique look, black, smooth and gold wave animation in the background, central moving visualizer, and a live transcription box underneath that shows the conversation in chronological order without duplicates or English text. When the user taps start, the agent must use the phrase, "Hello, how are you? How can I help today?" first of all, using an American voice that is the fastest and most performance option available. We're going to come down and press build. Now it's going to start going off, writing all of the code in the backend for us and bringing that idea to life. And there we go. After 124 seconds or just over 2 minutes, we've got our response back. As you can see on the left here, it thought for 43 seconds and then it's gone through and generated everything we need. We can also see the backend code if we come across to make sure that we can A, make sure it's secure, but B, if we ever wanted to change it into Cursor or other platforms, we're able to do that nice and easily. If we come back to preview, this is what we're going to see. We're going to do allow access to microphone, and as we can see here, it's now ready to go. If we do tap to start, let's check it out. So it looks like we got a connection error straight away. So we're just going to do auto fix on the left. Don't worry about this. I've had it a few times whilst going through and testing, and 9 times out of 10, Gemini is able to go through and solve that error straight away. So there we go. We've just got an updated one back just over 2.5 minutes later. So let's go through and check it out. We're going to do tap to start. Hi there.
Hello, how can I help you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Is there anything I can help you with right now?
So there we go. We've now got it working in the background and we've got that transcription at the bottom. Again, we can fully customize what this looks like, and I'm going to show you how to quickly put it into a client's color scheme later on. So now we know it's working and it's able to hear us. what we're going to do is come down and enter our second prompt. Now what we want to do is provide all of the information that we need for our AI agent in n8n to complete the booking. So we need the name, email address, and the desired appointment start time in ISO format for us to process it. We also want the agent to have phrases like "let me check that for you" before we trigger the webhook request. Otherwise, it's just going to automatically trigger it and it's not got any voiceover whilst it's doing that. So that's really going to improve the customer experience. We are using a post request to our webhook, which is what we're going to go through and set up in a second. So if we come across to our n8n environment, we've got the base here that we need to add to. We're going to add a webhook in here, and you need to make sure that it's actually a post request. When you're doing some live demos, you may want to change it to the production URL and activate the environment. Or if you want to show them the backend like we showed at the start of the video, keep it on the test URL and it will show it going through as it operates. So now we've got the webhook set up, let's come back across and we'll just wait for this to finish. So there we go, it's just gone through and made the changes to our app.txx file. So if we come into here and we do Control F and webhook, as we can see here, we've now got an example webhook URL that we're going to be able to update and replace. So to do that, we'll come back across to n8n, copy our brand new post request URL, and we're just going to replace it in here. So now it knows where to send the data. Let's come back and give it a test. We're going to close this down to preview. And before we go through and have the conversation, we'll just also set it for listen event. Hi there.
Hello. How can I help you today?
Please can I book an appointment for later today, maybe around 3 o'clock?
Certainly. Can I please have your full name and email address?
Of course, my name is Alex Followell, spelt Followell. My email address is alex@theaiedge.group, spelt THEAIEDGE.group.
Let me check that for you. Great. I've sent the details to start the booking process for you.
So there we go. That's how quick and easy it is to be able to get Google's AI Studio to now send data across to our n8n instance. So now we've got the data in here. We've got loads of different functionality that we can use with the native apps in n8n, but also because of all of the different MCP connectors, the use cases are pretty much infinite. What it also means is we're securely backed up by Google's cloud for hosting this demo environment. So now we've captured the start time, the email, and the name. We can go through and make the changes. I'm going to come through to our example that we had from earlier on and just change it back to the executions so you can see how it happens. Let's just come back to the first one that we did to show you how you're able to book that appointment. So exactly the same as what I've just shown you, we had a test request URL which was set to post. We asked it to send across the customer name, the email address, and the appointment start time as well. We then went through and used a Google availability checker. To use this, you need to come up to the right, search for a calendar in our nodes, and then we're using get availability in calendar. Make sure to come across to the community. We walk you through how to connect your Google accounts in here. And then you just want to select the calendar that the appointment's going to be made in. So maybe you've got different team members that take different types of appointments, or you've just got one generic one, you can do that in here. And again, it doesn't have to be Google's calendar. Now that we've got it into our n8n instance, if you were to use Go High Level or any of the other different calendar appointments softwares, you'd be able to do it nice and easily. So with our availability checker, we're going through and we're putting across the appointment start time. So if I pull this across from the left-hand side here, what you'll be able to see is that we've got the start time coming through, but it's currently a text field that's not in a date time format. So we've got the updated code here, which is basically going to convert the text that we got passed across into something called an ISO date format. This is the date time format that lots and lots of different applications use, including Google's calendar, to make sure it's in the right format to process the request. So in this use case, as you can see on the right, We're just making sure that it's in that correct ISO date time format with the days, the hours, the minutes, everything like this for us to be able to complete the request. So we're going to come out of here. We're going to trigger this step. As we can see, it's now false because earlier on we booked that appointment. But if the time slot is available, then we'll get the output as true. And that's where our if statement is going to go through and triple check that. So we're saying if this statement is true, we're going to go through and create an event. But if it's false, of course, that means the appointment time is booked. So we need to go through and suggest some alternative times. In this use case, we'll go through just how to do the alternative times first. If we open up Get All Events, what we're looking to do is add one day to the current request of the customer. The reason for this is because we're now looking 24 hours in advance, or basically that next day that the customer wanted to book their appointment, to see if we can book them in the next day because their appointment wasn't available. We're doing exactly the same as before. We're going to be putting across that original date time that that customer suggested, as we can see here, but then we need to go through and make a few changes. Same as before, we need to make sure it's a date time format, so it's in the correct format. We're also going to go through and we're going to add one day to that customer's request. So as you can see here, if I've requested the 5th, it's now going to check the availability on the 6th of December. So it gives us lots of flexibility. If you wanted to then loop it through, then you could check 1 day in advance, 2 days in advance, and so on and so forth. So if we get rid of this, it's gone through and it's going to find any slots that are currently taken up. So these 5 different ones that we got back are where we already have appointments. This code node here is going to summarize that quickly for us into a text format. So we're basically saying on the 6th of December, we've got something happening between 0000 through to 9:30 in the morning. Then from 9:30 in the morning, we've got something until 12:30. And then from 12:30, we've got something until 1:30. And then we've got a gap between 1:30 and 5 o'clock because there's no events. So that's when we could book a customer in. So if we come out of here, we're then going to pull all of this together with a basic LLM module, which is going to take the currently blocked times and simply analyze all of these booked appointments to see if there's any gaps. We're also telling it a little bit about our business. So for example, it's only open between 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock every single day. And we want to make sure it's a nice, polite, concise response that we're providing back. The reason for this is because then, as you can see, the output is going to say, I'm sorry, that time is unavailable. However, on Saturday, December 6th, we have an opening for a 1 hour appointment, either from 1:30, 2:30, or 3:30. If we come back out, we're then using the response webhook node here. So it's slightly different to the one at the start. You want to do plus and respond to webhook. And then it's just going to go through. And in this case, we're using text to provide that response back. So if I get rid of this, come back into here, as you can see, if I get rid of this, we're then using that output that's come from the basic LLM module, i.e. the output that the AI has generated for us so that we can give it back to the customer. If we come out of here, that's how we can go through and just confirm if that appointment is no longer available. Of course, because we're using these response to webhook nodes, we need to make sure at the start, we also make sure that our respond is set to using webhook response, instead of, as it usually defaults, to immediately. Otherwise, what the AI's workflow will do with Gemini is automatically respond regardless of the outcome, saying it's confirmed even if it isn't. So, if we do have the availability, we're going to come back up here. I'm just going to edit this output so we can do it for the test. So we're going to say true. We're going to come out of here and execute that step now. Now we're going to use a Google Calendar and we'll do create an event, as you can see here. So if I get rid of that example here, what we're using in this node is again that date time format that we had at the start, but we're also adding on some extra fields. We're putting across from the data that was passed across the email address that that person's provided, and we're also adding in that person's name as part of the summary. If you can't see these fields, what you'll need to do is come down to add fields. If I just show you quickly, we'll get rid of all of these. We'll add attendee. We'll of course put across that email address. We're then going to come through and do add summary and put across that customer's name. And then beforehand, we just do meeting with, and then Alex follow-up. So now it's going to go through, and if we trigger this, create an event. So let's go across to my calendar. And as we can see here, we've now got 2 meetings in my diary that we'll be able to go through and join. And then last but not least, we're just coming through and confirming with that message or that text saying booking confirmed back to our Google Studio app, so it knows that booking is definitely confirmed. So now that we've confirmed how our n8n workflow works, let's go through, give it another test, and show you how to deploy it. So we're going to come and get the URL of our working instance. We'll just unpin all of this data so we can do the test. We'll do save, come back across. What we're going to need to do is quickly come across to the code part, and then in our app TSX file, we're just going to update this webhook URL here. So it's going to be sending it across to the correct location. We can also go through and see it in different modes. So for example, full screen, if we were going to do that demo, or we could see it on maybe what it would look like on a mobile, which I think looks incredibly good. And we've got it on the tablet. And if I rotate it, as we can see here, again, looks incredibly good straight away. We're going to come back though to current screen size. So now let's go through and give it a quick test. Hi there.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Please can I book an appointment for 2 p.m. on Saturday?
I can help with that. I'll need your full name and email address to book the appointment. What are those?
Yeah, sure. My full name is Alex Followell, Followell, and my email address is alex@theaiedge.group.
Let me check that for you. Booking confirmed.
So there we go. We now know that we're able to pass that data and back and forth between n8n and Google's AI Studio. And I think that voice sounds incredibly good already. So now, what if we want to go through and deploy this into a real environment? Well, all we need to do is come up to the right-hand side, and we're going to have a few different options. We can copy the app, open the version history, download all of the app files, save it to GitHub, and we can deploy the app on here nice and easily with GCP. First of all, I just want to show you that you can actually share this demo link with clients as well. So if you wanted to give them access, trial it out before or after the meeting, as we can see here, they've now got access to try it out. If we come back across though, say we want to actually turn it into a deployed app, we'll come up to the top right hand side. You need to make sure that you've got a Google Cloud account already connected with some billing connected. We're going to create a new one, which is going to call Gemini 3 Voice Agent, and then we'll do create a project. Now what this is going to do is set it all up behind the scenes. We're going to actually connect it to a billing account as well, and we're going to be able to go through and then use it on the web. So now it's all connected, let's go through and deploy the app. Whilst this is loading, make sure to drop any comments down below of anything you'd love us to build with Google's Gemini 3 or anything else with n8n. So there we go, it's now all successfully deployed. So we just need to click on the link and it will be able to open up and work straight away. Let's double check. Hi there.
Hello, how can I help you today?
So there you go. As you can see, able to set it up incredibly quickly. If you want to come through and customize it to a client, let's come across to Trustpilot. We're just going to search for a random plumber. We're just going to pick one out at random. Let's go for this one here. No idea who they are. Never worked with them before. We're just going to screenshot this page here. Come back across to our Google Studio. Of course, it's multimodal, so we can analyze that image for us, and we can say, please change the color scheme to match the client. We'll now send this off, see if it's able to go through, fully customize it to that client, and then we've got a fully working voice AI agent built in a matter of moments. And there we go, it's gone through and changed the colors a bit, as well as the name up the top here as well, so we could fully customize that to the client incredibly quickly. If you want to access any of the blueprints or learn how to master AI and automation, Make sure to click the first link in the description and come across to the community. Stay tuned for more around AI, automation, and have a great day.